Welcome to the New Africa, the channel that's changing how the world sees Africa. From groundbreaking mega projects to untold success stories, from vibrant cultures to bold innovations, this is the Africa they don't show you on the news. The New Africa, in changing the narration. Subscribe and be part of the movement rewriting Africa's story, with pride, power, and purpose.
Before the world knew his name, it tried to erase it. Before the truth found a voice, it was buried in silence. This is the story of a man, not born in the West, not backed by privilege, who saw something the powerful refused to see. A man who carried light into a place built on denial, and paid the price. But this is also a story of something greater, of the African mind, brilliant, bold, and unbowed, that dared to speak truth in a world that prefers silence. This is not just science, it is resistance. This is not just a man, it is a mirror. And now, we will finally tell the story they tried to bury. Because the truth, like the sun, cannot be hidden forever. This is the light they tried to extinguish, but it burns brighter now, and it begins here. Truth is not a luxury of the educated. It's the foundation of life. Without it, nations fall, cultures vanish, and minds remain in darkness. But in a world that often rewards lies with comfort and punishes truth with isolation, carrying the truth is a burden few can endure. Truth is not popular. It is not always welcomed. It disrupts the systems that benefit from silence. It frightens those who live in denial. And yet, even under attack, even when ignored, truth endures. Because those who carry it must become its warriors. They must believe even when no one claps. Because when you carry the truth, you do not walk in the shadow of fear. You shine. In 2015, a film was released that many ignored, but those who watched closely saw its purpose. The film was called Concussion. It didn't have explosions. It didn't glorify war. Instead, it told a quieter, more dangerous story. That American football, the NFL, had a secret. A disease that was killing its heroes long after the crowd stopped cheering. A truth the world didn't want to believe. A truth that, if accepted, could change everything. Concussion wasn't just a film, it was a mirror, held up to the system, asking, will you listen or continue to deny? Sometimes it takes fiction to wake up reality, and film to force the truth into the light. The NFL is not just a game, it is America's heartbeat, a cultural empire. Every Sunday, millions watch warriors collide on the field, chasing glory and greatness. But beneath that glory, a darker reality grows. Players who once thrilled crowds are now forgotten, their minds collapsing into confusion, memory loss, and depression. Some take their own lives. Others vanish into silence. By 2023, at least 345 NFL players were diagnosed posthumously with CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, a disease caused by repeated head trauma. A disease the NFL denied for years. They denied it because acknowledging it would cost billions. Because beauty can hide horror, and power hates the truth when it threatens profit. How many heroes must fall before truth becomes louder than the roar of a stadium? But behind this entire story, long before the film, long before the media noise, there was a man. A man not born in America but in Nigeria. A man trained in science but raised in humility. He had no fame, no corporate backing, only a microscope, and the courage to ask questions. While others looked away, he studied the brain of Mike Webster, a football hero who died broken, homeless, and forgotten. And what he found was a silent killer, a disease attacking the brain from within. He gave it a name, CTE, and with that, he shook the foundations of the most powerful sport in the world. But instead of gratitude, he faced rejection. Instead of celebration, silence. When you are African and brilliant, the world will first try to erase you before it ever honors you. His findings were too clear to ignore, yet the system ignored them anyway. Scientific journals refused to publish more of his work. The NFL-funded doctors called his research flawed. He was painted as unqualified, simply because of his accent, his skin, his nationality. He lost funding. His colleagues distanced themselves. He became a man in exile, even while living in America. And so, this genius from Nigeria, this truth-bearer, began to break.
He told his wife, maybe I should go home. Maybe I was not meant to do this here.
It is the cruelest fate, to be right when the world isn't ready to listen. But truth is not fragile. It waits in silence. then rises again. Other doctors began to see what he saw. More brains were studied, more players died. The evidence became undeniable. Soon, Harvard, Boston University, and the National Institutes of Health confirmed what he had written. CTE was real. His research was valid. He had been right all along. The same medical institutions that once shunned him now cite his work. The same headlines that mocked him now carry his name. The world began to listen. And the man who was once nearly forgotten became a symbol of truth. The truth does not need permission to be real. It just needs time, and someone brave enough to carry it. But even now, after all the science, all the proof, the NFL still hasn't said his name. No apology, no recognition, no justice. That silence is not just a mistake, it's a message. To every African in the diaspora, this is your moment. Raise your voice. Demand that Dr. Bennet Omalu be honored, that the truth he gave to the world be acknowledged by the very league he tried to protect. This is not just his fight. It is ours, for every African mind that was doubted, for every truth that was buried, for every genius the world tried to forget. Let the world hear us. Say his name, Dr. Bennet Omalu, and say to the NFL, truth deserves justice, and justice starts with recognition. This is not just the story of a scientist. It is the story of a system that ignores truth, and a man who refused to be silenced. It is also the story of Africa, a continent whose minds are brilliant, but whose voices are often ignored until it's too late. This is the new Africa, where truth is not feared, where science wears brown skin, where silence is not golden, and courage is not foreign. This is the new Africa, and in our Africa, no truth is too small to defend, and no genius is too African to be remembered. If you believe in truth and the power of the African mind, then don't let this story fade again. Share this video, like it, subscribe to the New Africa, because in changing the narration and revealing the truth, every voice matters.